just rambling a little bit because I'm trying to start the YouTube stream so everybody can jump onto YouTube and everybody can tune in to what we have going on here around the Arklatex. As you can see, we're going to jump right into Future Track here. Now, we have the YouTube stream up, so if you have anyone that cannot access the KSLA News 12 website. We're also live on YouTube here. Here's a look at Future Track. We can expect these storms to slowly make their way down to the south and eastern portions of the region through the afternoon hours. Here we are at around 12 to 12:30 p.m. We are expecting most of those storms to be between I-20 and I-30. We're going to be watching those very, very closely as we move through the daytime hours today, but they may gain in strength and intensity as we move towards the later afternoon hours for today. Here we are at around 3:30. And some of those storms could turn severe at times, mainly denoting the threats for large hail as well as damaging winds and the very low chance, non-zero chance of tornadoes here. But there's a very low chance for flash flooding as well. Does not mean that it's out of the question. So from around 3:30 to around 5 p.m. is when it should move through the Shreveport and Bossier area and move down to the south and eastern portions of the region. Areas by Natchitoches may see those storms by around 5 p.m. until around 7 p.m. or 6:30, 7 p.m. in the evening here. And most of these storms, the heavier parts of these storms, should be out of the region by the time we hit around 7 p.m. for the most part. But we are expecting a couple of wraparound showers. A couple of showers be left behind over there in the far eastern portion of the area. And by the time we reach around 10 p.m., we should be dry and clear in the skies for the most part over in East Texas. Still clouds left behind in the eastern portions of the Arklatex there. But north and westerly winds will be moving in pretty fast as we move through the overnight hours and into our Wednesday with a couple of wraparound showers possible for our south and western portions of Arkansas within the Arklatex. But as you can see there, we could see some windy conditions due to this north and westerly flow, and as well as some cloud cover moving in from the north and east associated with that low pressure system there, as it will continue to develop and move outside of the Arklatex off to the eastern half of the United States. But heading towards Wednesday evening, we may see the wind start to calm down a bit, but we will be dealing with much cooler conditions heading throughout Wednesday all in all. Here's the updated severe risk for this afternoon. It shows a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather in all of the green shaded counties and parishes within the Arklatex: Magnolia, Ruston, Shreveport, Bossier, Minden, and Homer, as well as almost all counties and actually all parishes within Louisiana here, and as well as most areas south of I-20 over in East Texas there, including Nacogdoches, as well as Panola County, Shelby County, St. Augustine, and Sabine counties as well under this marginal risk for severe weather. So it's a low chance for severe weather to occur, but it's not zero. It's a non-zero chance, actually. Here's a look at the highs for today around the region. We are expecting the lower 80s for the far southern portions of the Arklatex near St. Augustine, Nacogdoches, 81 by Manny, 80 for Natchitoches, 76 by Shreveport. Only the lower 60s by Idabel and DeQueen for today, 62 by Hope, and 65 by Texarkana. So we are expecting cooler conditions for the northern portion of the Arklatex, not so much for the southern half of the region. But as we move into tomorrow, these highs drastically drop for the entire Arklatex here. 62 by Coshada, as well as Mansfield, 63 by Shreveport, maybe even the lower 50s for highs as we move towards DeQueen and areas like Idabel and areas north of I-30 there, 56 by Hope, 59 by Mount Pleasant. Around Texarkana looks to be at around 59 degrees as well, 65 by Nacogdoches, being the warmest around the region here. Definitely the coolest conditions we have seen so far is on the way, or coolest conditions we will see so far this season is on the way as we move into our Wednesday afternoon here, and especially lows will be very close to the highs, mainly due to the winds coming out of the north and west. That's why temperatures will be well into the 50s and some well into the 60s out there. Pretty much mid and upper 50s for the northern areas around I-30 and northward, lower 60s and upper 50s for areas around I-20 and southward here. But here's a look at highs for the next few days afterwards, next 5 days afterwards to be exact. We're expecting the lower 60s and mid and upper 50s heading into our Wednesday. More than likely, the low to mid 60s heading into our Thursday. Still some upper 50s out there potentially, but we should see the lower 70s for highs heading into our Friday and Saturday. Still no rain on the way after today here, but heading into our Sunday, we could see slightly higher temperatures and temperatures more around the average for this time of year. There's little to no rain actually on the way. I want to correct myself when I say that. We did not have any rain chances for yesterday, for after what we will see for today, but there is a slight rain chance, I believe, on our Saturday coming up. It's only a isolated shower and storm type of rain chance, around 20%. But here's a look at our low temperatures for the next 5 days. Wednesday morning, 51. Thursday morning, low to mid 40s out there across the region. Friday morning, which is the morning of Halloween, we are expecting temperatures to drop into the 30s for quite a few areas around the Arklatex. That's the first time we have seen it so far this season. That's the first time we will see the 30s so far this season, and we are expecting a warm up in terms of morning temperatures heading into Saturday as well as Sunday coming up through the rest of the 5-day period. Here's a look at our rain chances. As mentioned before, around 20% rain chance for our Saturday here, but we are expecting little to no rain on the way across the board here for the entire Arklatex region. And due to this little to no rain, or due to this dry trend that we may go under through the next 7 days. English is kind of hard here this morning, but we are expecting drier than average conditions through the next 6 to 10 days ahead here. That includes not only the Arklatex, but for areas well west of us in the panhandle of Texas, they're more than likely going to receive below average conditions for quite some time here, at least through the next 2 weeks or so. That looks to last through the next 8 to 14 days as well. As you can see there, just a little bit of a lower risk that we will see below average rainfall, but maybe one or two instances of rain are expected through the next 2 weeks. So that goes into the beginning to middle parts of November here. So that's definitely on the way for us. If you have any questions, you can go to the live stream on YouTube there and ask anything that you may want or desire to know here, especially associated with the storms that we have for this afternoon. If you want me to go through, if you want me to go through Future Track once more, just let me know in the YouTube chat once more, and I will let you guys know as well. We're going to dive into the 7-day forecast first, and then we're going to go into the details on Hurricane Melissa. We're also going to look at some live cameras here for Hurricane Melissa. Halloween is not on Saturday, so I'm going to change that real fast here. Yes, so Hurricane Melissa is bound to make landfall within the next hour or so, or maybe hour and a half here. It's pretty much right on the very edge. The eye wall is on the very edge of the southwestern portions of Jamaica as of right now, and it is going to make landfall within the next hour or so. So everybody's watching this storm slowly start to move onto land and bring its strongest winds to landfall to the western portions of the island as of right now. But here's a look at our 7-day forecast. We're going to go into more details after the 2-minute break. Windy conditions for tomorrow, we're expecting a pretty high chance for rain as we move through the daytime hours today. But as we move into tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, little to no rain is expected, just windy conditions for tomorrow, and temperatures try to make their way back towards the average through the rest of the forecast period. Moving myself off the screen, we may see another cool down heading into our next Tuesday here, but we should see the coolest morning ahead for our Friday morning, just ahead of Halloween, the Halloween daytime hours. But the coolest day will be on our Wednesday through the next 7 days ahead. We should see dry conditions for the most part through the weekend and into the next work week, with potentially another cool down on the way as we move into our Tuesday of the next work week. So around a week from today. Coming up after this 2 break, we're going to be talking about Hurricane Melissa and what we can expect, what the island of Jamaica can expect. And we're also going to look at some live cameras, which are moving around quite a bit here as the island begins to experience the worst of the winds from Hurricane Melissa. We're going to be diving into those details in just around 2 minutes. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. This is a look at Hurricane Melissa. As of right now, it stands at 185 mile per hour sustained winds. This tops the strength in terms of pressure as well as wind speeds as Hurricane Milton, which just happened last year in the Gulf, and it reached, I believe, 175 or 180 mile per hour sustained winds. Hurricane Melissa already tops that with 892 millibars in terms of pressure. So the lower the pressure it is, the stronger the storm it is. And that was recorded at around 9 o'clock this morning here. And it currently stands at 185 mile per hour sustained winds. Zooming in to where exactly, which areas are experiencing the highest winds as of right now. It's more than likely in the areas that are shown here. I'm going to circle it. More than likely areas that are on the eastern half of this of where this storm is hitting right now. So most portions along the eastern portions, as close to the eye as possible, are dealing with the heaviest heaviest winds as of right now, as well as the heaviest rainfall and the heaviest storm surge will be seen in the areas shaded in that or circled here in the yellow, as you can see there. But that eye wall is starting to make its way into portions along the southwestern coastlines of Jamaica as of right now, and that eye wall, or that eye, is expected to move along the western half of the country. And the portions along Kingston, over here near Kingston, I believe this is around where Kingston is, over in the second circle I just made there on the screen, are dealing with lesser impact as what it was expected maybe a couple of days ago. This is exactly where Kingston, I believe this is exactly where Kingston is as of right now, are located around this area over here. They are more than likely going to receive lesser impacts as compared to what the track was showing just a few hours ago or a few days ago, because of how far west this storm has traveled. It's traveled even farther west, as more west than expected. So areas in the midsections of the country will more than likely receive the worst of the impacts associated with this storm here. And we're going to actually take a live look at one of the sky cameras here. This is looking at downtown Kingston in Jamaica, and as you can see, there is quite a bit of some rain already falling over here in Jamaica, and they like a couple moments ago, as I was showing the storm here, that camera was shaking quite a bit here. That is more than likely in Jamaica, as you can see, the downtown area of Jamaica. We also have more live cameras for you guys to show you here on the Mac, on the other computer that we have here. But we're going to show those in just a second here. We're going to go back to the live picture of the storm as of right now. Actually, they're changing the point of view here, so I want to show you guys that picture real quick. As you can see, they're looking in a different direction here. Some of the trees are swaying back and forth. They're swaying back and forth as of right now, and yeah, everybody's hunkered down, and thankfully nobody's out there on the roads. I was watching a couple of streams before I came into work earlier this morning, and I saw people driving on the roadways, walking on the roads, and acting like there wasn't a Category 5 heading their direction. But they more than likely, the Kingston area won't see the higher impacts of the storm as compared to areas along the western half of Jamaica. That is more than likely. I'm going to call out some of the names here that are of these cities that may be impacted the worst associated by this hurricane that is heading their way as of right now. Let's see. Okay, Montego Bay is more than likely going to receive the higher effects of this storm. Black River, more than likely is dealing with the eye wall, the closest part to the eye wall, and more than likely dealing with the highest winds associated with the storm as of right now. So if you have anybody in Black River, please send out prayers to them or check on them in just a few moments. They're more than likely receiving the worst of the winds as of right now, the catastrophic winds. Savannah, Lamar is also seeing the highest threat for this. Actually, Black River is actually seeing the highest threat for storm surge as of right now. St. Elizabeth is in the path of this. Mandeville is also in the path of this. As you move more westward towards Maypen, they're also receiving some gusty winds as of right now. Yeah, they're also seeing some gusty winds as of right now. I want to take a live look at that camera right now as well. So we're going to put this on the screen here. There we go. This is a live look into Maypen in Jamaica. They're just to the north and west of Spanish Town and Kingston. This live camera is a little bit slow as of right now here, so we could just give that a minute. We're gonna go back to the other camera, and then we're gonna switch the cameras here, just so you guys can see exactly what's going on here, associated with these storms that are or the storm that is on the way to on the way through Jamaica as of right now. This live camera is working. This is near Barbican, St. Andrew, which is also kind of not working here. So we're gonna not look at those cameras there. This is near Kingston Harbor. Let's see if this camera works here. All right, flipping this onto the screen. This is near Kingston Harbor around 10:54 a.m. around 30 seconds ago to a minute ago. As you can see, the waters are unsettled as of right now, obviously, but those winds are mainly heading out of the south, coming through there, mainly heading from the water into land. So we can expect storm surge, according to the National Hurricane Center, up to 13 feet above sea level there. And we could see rainfall totals between 20 to 30 inches fall in the island of Jamaica alone, more than likely in the western half of Jamaica, as close to that eye wall as possible. The closer to the eye wall you are, the more likely you are going to see catastrophic winds, as well as the storm surge, the higher storm surge, as well as the numerous landslides that are possible associated with all the rain that may fall in that region over there. So we're going to go back to the live picture of the storm as a whole here. Okay. This is the storm in general, currently at 892 millibars and 180 mile per hour sustained winds. It's tied for the third strongest storm on record in the Atlantic Basin. That's out of all storms in history. It's actually tied with the Labor Day storm, I believe, in 1935, I believe that year was. Excuse me if I'm wrong about that year, off by a couple years, but it was in the early 1900s. That Labor Day storm was very similar to this storm, as it makes landfall into Jamaica here. But here's the official path on where it may be heading here. It's expected to make a landfall as a Category 5 storm. It is a very high-end Category 5. I believe the threshold for Category 5 storm is 155 mile per hour sustained winds, I believe, or 160 or 100. I believe it's 156 mile per hour is the threshold for Category 5 hurricane, and that's the maximum amount of sustained winds there at the very close to the eye wall. It currently has sustained winds almost 30 miles per hour higher than that Category 5 threshold, and the wind gusts are much higher than 200 miles per hour at a time here. So this storm is expected to make landfall within the next hour or so. The first parts of the eye wall are actually moving into areas close to, I believe it's called Black River. It's called, yes, Black River, very close to Black River. So Black River is on the eastern portions of the eye wall right now, actually receiving the worst of the storm. And it's making its way onto land right now. It's expected to continue to make its way northward through the island of Jamaica through today. By the time it reaches this afternoon, later this afternoon and into this evening, around 150 mile per hour sustained wind, still a major hurricane, and is expected to move into Cuba no later than later on tonight into early on Wednesday morning here. It's expected to continue to make its way through the Caribbean islands and through the Bahamas as a Category 2 storm. By Wednesday afternoon or evening, remaining at Category 2 heading into Thursday morning and moving out in the Atlantic, where it's not expected to make landfall anywhere else, I believe, or into portions near, I believe this is the St. George. Yes, it's the Bahamas. No, not the Bahamas. This is Bermuda. Bermuda, that is. My mind was blanking there. Sorry, guys. Yes, this is the island of Bermuda. It's expected to hit the island of Bermuda as a regular hurricane, more than likely a Category 2 hurricane, and continue to make its way off to in the Atlantic and dissipate as it does so. But right now, it's one of the strongest storms on record in the Atlantic Basin currently, and we're going to be watching it throughout the daytime hours today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. We're going to be breaking down the details of today's storms as well as Hurricane Melissa throughout the daytime hours today. I'll be on at KSLA News 12 at noon as well as 4 p.m. today. Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones is back on the air by the time we hit around 5 p.m. For the KSLA News 12 at 5 p.m. show. He's going to be on at 6 p.m. as well as 10 p.m. tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again to this episode, and I hope you guys have a great and safe rest of your day. Make sure to stay weather aware and stay dry, everyone.